Welcome again. As I promised last time that I was going to take you on my journey of being a refugee in a foreign land, and how my journey was. And today, finally, I got my passport. This is the British passport, which is the new passport now. They used to have a red one, and now they've since changed, and this is now the new passport. So now I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to travel anywhere in the world if money is not an issue. As I said, I will jump into my narrative because I always think they also need to know what I'm saying, but I'll try to do another video if I cannot do it today, but I'll try to make another one. But as usual, my name is Kate, and I always want to recap on things that I do. I'm always that person who wants to follow on what I've said and do exactly what I've said. So I did start with the virtual celebration, which I did on the 17th. And then on the 18th, I completed my online application for my passport. So I submitted those documents together with my naturalization certificate. They always tell you not to laminate it, because if you laminate it, then it becomes invalid. So I did that, and I retained my refugee passport as well, which was a blue passport. And now I've been waiting for almost 3-4 weeks now, and today I did receive the document finally, which is now the British passport, which is this one. And congratulations to me, in order. I've traveled this journey since 2003. It has been a long journey. As far as I can tell, to me, there was time when I almost said, I'm going to go home. I think I've overstayed in England. Why should I stay that much? But you know what? When you've got children across the ocean, and then you think, if I go home, and you cannot be able to come back and see them or visit them, you are always at a crossroad as a parent. So I was that parent at a crossroad. But the one thing that I've learned in this journey, as living in a foreign land, I came all the way from Zimbabwe. I was born in Zimbabwe, as I said before. I was born during colonial rule, which was Southern Rhodesia. And then in 1963, Ian Smith declared UDI, and it became Rhodesia. It was Southern Rhodesia then, when we were born. And then 1963, Ian Smith declared UDI, and then it became Rhodesia. And then there was a bitter war of liberation struggle between the blacks, because the blacks thought, no, we are not being ruled correctly. So the blacks went for war. And then in 1980, Zimbabwe was born. It was born from its colonial rules, which is the United Kingdom. So it became Zimbabwe. So I stayed there, and then I traveled to the UK in 2003. And since that time, it was a tug of war between immigration and everything. The papers, sometimes you submit papers and they are not accepted, or you are told, no, this is not what we want. Wow, you should go back home, or we are going to tell you to deport you and you go back to Africa. And, you know, and all those things, they put you through a lot of stress. I was one of those people who was always stressed, because imagine you are in a foreign land for so many years and you are not allowed to work. We used to be given a biometric card which was written that you cannot work, and you have you do not have a recourse to public funds, which meant your people would have to stay with you, give you food and everything, which was quite hard. And then in 2009, then I was granted leave to remain in 2009. That's when I started really being myself and getting work and doing things. But you know what? I want to remind myself somehow. During that time when I was not allowed to work or do things, I started recapturing things and doing things which I knew even if I go home, they would help me out. So I enrolled myself into colleges. That time they were not strict. So I enrolled myself into a college, and I started making those clothes which I used to do at home. So I made clothes from home, and I started, and we are starting to do designing. So I did designing. So I used to go to the college every morning and do the designing. Firstly, it was the computer. I had challenges with the computer because at home I didn't have a computer, and we never had them actually. I don't know if there were so many offices who had computers. I don't think so. So our office was quite high there, but we never had a computer. We actually had electronic typewriters. And so when I came here, my challenge was the computer. What did I do? I did go to the college. I enrolled myself in, and I started learning about how to use the computer, which was something very unique. I mean, considering how I was so intimidated by the computer. So I did learn all that. So I want to give you the narrative of how I traveled that journey up to now. As far as I can tell, there are so many things that we do and take for granted, and we don't look at other people. I do appreciate the British government so far, because they have this hospitality which I need to appreciate. There's a lot that goes on behind doors, of course, and there's a lot also that will go when you are in a foreign land. But sometimes you just need to continue with your journey because you don't know where you are going. So finally today, I did get to the end of it, which is the British citizenship and the passport to travel. Now I want to remind my Zimbabwean people that, or any other person who's going to stumble on this, the process of getting to being a citizen in UK, to me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I traveled turbulently, but I made a lot of friends, and I made friends. I'm that person who is easy to make friends with. So I made a lot of friends, and they kept on encouraging me that, you know what, you need to continue. You can't go without having your status, which made me to get to this point. Now, I want to remind others that if you know you are here in a foreign land, remember, follow the rules, follow the guidelines. Do not listen to other people, because a lot of us, we do this hearsay. You tell someone, hey, this home office said this. No. If you are someone who can read, if you can go online and read, you can see the guidelines. I mean, this country has got all the paperwork and their guidelines, their rules, they are all public, in the public domain, which you can go there and read. You can read yourself and probably write to them as well, and they will answer you. It brings me to a question of one of my friends who said when he came to the UK, he wrote a letter and said he had actually been suspended from Zimbabwe. It was during the colonial times when they were being suspended from school because of politics. And when he was suspended, they started corresponding. And when he corresponded to Form 4, he wrote a letter to say to the Queen, Her Majesty, to say, I want to do nothing. And he remembers that he only sent it to UK without without anything on it, a proper address. He just wrote that to Her Majesty the Queen, and then UK, England, whatever. And then the letter came, and definitely they answered him. And he came to the UK and stayed in UK for so many years. He became a nurse, he went on to be a doctor, he went on to be a scientist from that time. So this is how these countries are run. They follow the rules and they follow laws. They do respect anybody, anyone. They do not discriminate. They look at you as you are. And which is one thing that I appreciate about the UK government, that they give you a chance to thrive. If you can. If you can even go to school. I realize a lot of people, I couldn't go to school because I was waiting for the paperwork to be done and everything. And things, and the laws kept changing. As I always say, I really wanted to become a nurse. I really liked that job, but I couldn't become a nurse. And by the time I was guaranteed to by the time I was given leave to remain, I was over the age of going back to school and become a nurse, because it was like I'll be retiring after 60. So it was like 2 years before my reaching 60. I was not going to make it to nursing. And so if I had gone for nursing, I was going to be trained, of course, but how many years was I going to work standing and running in the corridors of hospitals? It was not easy for me. So I realized, no, there was something more that I could do. So I chose to do a few things as well. I went for counseling, I went for sewing, I went for cake making, I went for all those courses I went and did ECDL. So that is the computer lesson that I went to do. So it was like I didn't really get to a point where I would become a nurse. But then I didn't mind, because the people with their sense of humor, I managed to thrive in my own cocoon. I also tried to do things that I realized that I won't get bored a lot. So I did join a company where they did cosmetics, which I love doing cosmetics up to now. Hence, I do want to expand and show other women how to take care of their skin even at their later age. It doesn't matter your age, because getting wrinkles is what it is, because that's your age. So you accept it with gratitude and thanks to God that you are still alive and you've got to a point where you can see your wrinkles and you can see your grandchildren if possible, but you are still alive. So it doesn't matter whether you are at that age or you are wrinkly, but you still love yourself and continue to live, because that is what God has done to you, which I'm grateful about. And so this is me now, thinking, okay, I can't do nothing. So I continue doing all those small little courses around me, which I find they are quite helpful at the moment. And I do appreciate what I've managed to do during those days that I was here. So I want to remind those people who are still waiting for their status to change. Things have changed, so I can't talk much about things that have changed right now, because they are changing, because the UK also got out of Europe, so we are no longer in the Europe. We are now UK and Ireland, so things have changed again. But for those who are here and who can still manage to go through the process and get to a point where you get your status, I wish you well. But this has been my journey. And finally, I do have my British passport, which is here, which I hold to my heart dearly. And I wish you well and hope you will get your status soon. You take care. Thank you. It's for me, Katie.